Hello, good afternoon, and welcome to round four of the 2025 World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship from Montreal, Canada. It's been an interesting first three rounds. We've had three different winners, and the championship leader isn't even one of them. It's highly competitive between three teams at the front, a very tight midfield battle, and the development race is going to change and fluctuate throughout the season. And we're back at Canada, Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, at a place that in the previous two seasons has both seen rain, and there's a potential for it to be forecasting and happening again this afternoon. So it could be interesting, but let's hope it's not quite as interesting as Kyle Army in South Africa. Good afternoon, I'm Ash Baker. I'm going to be commentating, and alongside, once again, is Robin Tubin. Robin, how are you?
Thank you. Doing very fine, and really looking forward to this race because the last two races here at Montreal have both been fantastic. So I think today will be no exception.
Absolutely. And yeah, fingers crossed it's a hat trick of interesting races at Montreal. Before we head to the track, let's have a little look at the standings. And as mentioned, Pascal Poland's leads without ever having sat on the top step of the podium so far. Philip Pushka and Lucas Murno both have, just 3 points behind. Axel Flam in fourth, or even Meshda, our other race winner, the winner back in Australia, but having to miss last week due to illness has hurt his chances a little bit, but there's still plenty of time for him to catch up. Gabriel Peckley rounding up the top six, which is, as you can see, populated by those three front-running constructors. And it's Misha Smith, Aaron Curtis, Alexander Knezevich, and Dominic Rustemeyer for the new United Racing Club, both of them in the top 10. In the constructors, Vanguard Engineering's consistency really serving them well, but it's such a close battle again at the top. Just 10 points separating the top three. And again, fluctuating performances week on week, which means we're again not fully sure who's going to be the fastest coming into this week. We're expecting it to be close, but who's got the edge? In the meantime, Holland Racing Team's slow start is recovered somewhat, and they're back up to fourth ahead of United Racing Club. Lucky Hamish Racing will be boosted by the fact that they will have two drivers together the first time today, so hopefully they can build on their solid start. While Infernal Void Racing, Velocita Virtuale, Bravo Snow Shatton, and Magnum all hoping for some chaos to allow them to get their first points of the season. Now, we have the weather, I believe. We can have a quick look at the weather forecast. And let's see what it's doing. But we are expecting a mixed forecast of cloudy and light rain in qualifying, whereas partly cloudy in the race. So we are expecting a rain-affected qualifying. So let's head to the track. The cars out on circuit getting their outlaps in. Just over 12 minutes to go in qualifying. In the meantime, Lucas Murno setting the pace early doors ahead of Pascal Poland and Axel Flam and Vanguard Engineering. Meshida back and in fourth ahead of Peckley. Alexander Knezevich in the HRT in sixth at the moment. Follow Daniel Benson Reed around the hairpin. And as it stands, there is no rain, but as expected, some light rain. So I think everyone is going to be in a rush to get some laps in. It may mix up the grid slightly if the rain does fall at a slightly inopportune time. What can Benson Reader do here? And up into sixth. That's a solid lap ahead of the HRT of Knezevich. There's Machado. Only 19th for him. He should have pretty good memories of this place last year, picking up his first ever points in WMSC. His best result to date. Can he create some similar magic for Potenza once again this season? We shall see.
Am I missing something, or is Philip Pushka missing at the present moment from the scoreboard? Because that could be crucial, especially if the rain should fall.
That is interesting, yes. See in practice, did you spot?
I did. Oh no, Gaggiano is in his car. So apparently, SCMM is missing one of their drivers today. And that's a championship contender.
That is indeed. The winner last time out as well. If I remember rightly, I'm not getting confused, or am I getting confused with last year?
No. Pushka won Kalami. It's
He did.
Measured the Murno, Pushka the race winners.
Of course, because Pushka also the winner of this race last year as well. Handling the rain-affected race in a late safety car to come home just ahead of pretty much the entire field, to be fair, with how bunched up they were. In the meantime, we have Meneghetti for Potenza Esports now.
Currently looking very handy in P9 for Potenza Esports, so they are a team that is always struggling scoring points, but very good to see them immediately starting in the top 10 as it stands. But especially, there are some big names behind them still. Misha Smith. We expect a points finish for HRT, especially since they have recovered after a very slow start to the season in Melbourne, where for the very first time they did not score a single point.
Follow Jean Palauro over the line.
He had a purple middle sector. This is incredible.
Wow. Yeah, that is incredible. And there's a bit of weight on his shoulders this afternoon, as he's the only driver for both Infernal Void and, if I'm reading correctly, for Velocita, due to a series of issues which have seen them with only one driver. Oh, and that's going to be frustrating for Axel Laflamme. Purple first sector, green middle, and slightly obstructed there by what looked like an SCMM, I think. He gets a little bit of tow from a sister car there of a United Racing Club car. Hopefully that will help him back through the final chicane. How good is this? Is this going to jump his teammate? Could he go further? He doesn't. He has lost a fair bit of time in that final sector, but he does get back ahead of Meshida, who just bettered his own time. So the gap between the top two, Murno and Poland's 0.02 of a second. This is going to be very tight, and again, they're going to be on the lookout for this rainfall. So they're just going to keep pumping laps in. In the meantime, Maximilian Jaeger 11th in the second of the Better Julias. Comes Benton Reader, already 7th after a solid first lap, out close to the wall of champions. That was beautifully done. Towards the line, can he go quicker? He can, and it does knock him up one place ahead of Misha Smith in the HRT.
Yeah, Benton Reader always on the limit with these cars, so very, very exciting to watch. And he had a chance to win here last year, if I remember correctly, because he took a gamble by switching onto the softs or dry tires very late in the race when the track was drying. And unfortunately, he crashed at the restart immediately, but there would have been a chance for him to snatch an unlikely victory here.
Indeed, very good memory there. And as Gabriel comes across the line, he gets a purple final sector. It's not enough for him to improve his position, but 0.6 off the pole time of his teammate.
I think Pascal Poland's also set a very quick time in the meantime, but not quick enough to beat Murno to provisional pole, but just 28 thousandths of a second behind the current pole time.
In the meantime, we see João Fernando for Bravo Snow Shatton in 17th. At the minute, still no rain on the radar. Track will be getting quicker and quicker. So they've just got to keep pushing in those laps. Meantime, Dominic Rustermeyer 10th in the standings. It's been a really good start for both United Racing Club drivers, with Rustermeyer and Curtis. They can keep continuously scoring points. I think that is exactly what their team boss would want for this new entry. Be a solid midfield contender. It is looking like improvements in both sectors for Rustermeyer. Just the final chicane to go. Very smooth through there. Is this going to get him to break into the top 10, maybe even above his teammate? Does, up to 7th, just behind Benton Reader. Meantime, Lucas Murno has gone 0.2 quicker in the first sector. Winner in Bahrain, when it was 2. Very much a going concern in this year's title fight.
Yeah, and remember he was in contention for the race win at Kyalami as well, but then a confusion about how to serve the 5-second penalties. That is what lost him a lot of time. So he was kind of out of that. Still finished on the podium, but yeah, we expect him to fight for the win here today again.
Absolutely, and he's gone purple in the middle sector as well. Through that final chicane, he does touch the wall. How much time as he scrubs off towards the line? It's still purple, and what an improvement it is too. That gap from 0.02 of a second has gone up to 0.4, but for how long? Here comes Poland. He's purple in the middle sector, not in the first, slower in the final sector, and can only bring it just under 0.4 of a second.
Significantly slower in the final sector as well. I think 0.3 he lost on Murno's time there.
That's incredible. Murno still being able to keep his foot in it and improve despite having a very messy exit from the final chicane. Gajano in for Philip Pushka, the team boss of SCMM.
Yeah, he's promoted himself. But last race, he was still racing for Potenza, scored their first points. Now he's having a go at the main team.
Well, you know, when you can say you've scored points from one attempt, I feel like he's got a good claim to that. He's also the boss, so you know, I guess his rules.
Yeah, absolutely.
We've got Knezovic coming in 7th. João Fernando looking to improve. And less than 3 minutes to go. Rain still not there. May it be at the very end? Are we going to just essentially get away with a dry session? Let's see. As it stands, most drivers will probably be looking to get a final run in.
I can see Murno has just left the pit lane, so he will be the first one of those top 5 to set a lap time. Measured out as well.
Now Fernando. Can he do to improve? Ooh, riding the first sausage curb into the wall, and that is how you push it just over the limit for the Wall of Champions. Crosses the line, still manages to improve. Clearly a straight line speed improvement with that lack of front wing. But there is a front wing flying across track now. In the meantime, Aaron Curtis improves up to 7th. Good lap from them. There is a flurry of activity at pit exit as more cars come out. Try and get in another run.
Well, the Vanguard boys leaving it very late. I see Poland still in the pit lane. Just 1:40 to go.
Are they going to risk it? Are they thinking, oh, maybe the rain isn't coming, and they're just going to try and be the last one to set that as per the the session? But obviously, 1 minute 13 to get round in anger, and there's only 1 minute 20 left. So it makes you think: is he even going to risk it?
Yeah, Benton Reader has just left the pit lane right now, so this is going to be a push-out lap that he has to do.
Yeah, he's going to have to go absolutely hell for leather if he wants to actually get a lap in, and he's immediately being held up by Machado. who I thought, actually Machado, was almost ducked out of his own push lap by the looks of it. In the meantime, Murno on his final lap, an improvement of 700ths of a second in the first sector. Oh, God, almost. It's very easy to breach track limits coming out between 8 and 9. But he's just kept it together. It has cost him a little bit of time, though. Very much pushing hard. He now just has the run down to the final chicane and the chicane itself navigate.
And he had a little bit of a moment getting very close to the Wall of Champions, so he might have room for an improvement in this final sector still.
Very fine margins indeed. He should be up net after those first 2 sectors. Again, very close to the wall, keeps his foot in it. He's going to grab a little bit of toe as well. Every little helps, and it does too. It's still slower in the final sector, but it's still quicker overall. In the meantime, here comes Ruven Meshida. Big improvements in the first couple of sectors. Nothing purple. Has this final sector set the world alight? There's a car and just grazed the Wall of Champions in the background. Meshida does not improve on third. Peckley across the line doesn't improve on fifth. Here comes Juno Gajano. And that bumps him up 1 place into 8th. Now, LaFlamme currently running 4th. He's got a little bit of a toe from this United Auto Club car, but if they're both on a flying lap, that's about to get very awkward. Going into the final chicane, I think the United Racing Club car does pull out quite comfortably. LaFlamme through the final chicane. Oh, that's beautifully inch perfect up to the wall. Hours towards the line. What can LaFlamme do? It's purple. It's pole. Incredible.
6,000, and Poland has backed out of his lap. He's in the pits again.
Out of nowhere, Axel LaFlamme may have just taken his first ever WMSC pole. What a lap that is. And it was all about nailing that final sector. A tactical hoe down the final straight, nailed the final chicane. And he's punished Murno for those messy exits from that final chicane. And it is the finest of margins. 6,000ths of a second. Now here is Benton Reader. I imagine he didn't make it.
He did not make it.
Incredible. What a finish to the qualifying session. So let's have a look at our provisional grid for our WMSC race in Canada. Axel LaFlamme on pole for the very first time, snatching it from Lucas Murno. Pascal Polens does not improve and almost, we think, chooses not to improve in his final lap. Stays third ahead of Ruven Mesh. Daniel Benton Reader 5th ahead of Peckley. The United Racing Club cars of Rustemeyer and Curtis 7th and 8th. Gino Gajano standing, Philip Pushka is 9th ahead of Alexander Knezovic. Misha Smith in the other HRT car is right behind ahead of the lone Infernal Void Racing car of Jean Palaro. Kenny Vela for Lucky Hamish Racing is ahead of Gustavo Fragoto and Maximilian Jaeger. The other Lucky Hamish Racing, it's been such a fast start to this qualifying session. We haven't even mentioned Gabriel Joubert, who is in for the first time ahead of Diogo Meneghetti, João Fernando, Mateus Machado, and João Marcos Angeli from Magnum Motorsports, rounding out our 20 drivers for today. So, the drivers are about to go into a warm-up, and we will be back in around 10 minutes for the start of the race. I do hope you'll join us. Welcome back to round 4 of the World Monoposto Sim Racing Championship from Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Canada. We are just seeing the end of the warm-up session. We will jump to the race in a moment. There's going to be no formation lap today. I believe it was tested before start of the briefing and did not work as desired. So they will be going without a formation lap today. Before we jump into that, though, let's have a quick reminder of the starting grid. Axel Laflamme is on pole for the very first time, just 6 thousandths of a sec quicker than Lucas Murno, teammate Pascal Polens in third. Ruven Meshter is leading SCMM, with Philip Pushka missing today, Gino Gajano subbing in down in 9th. Daniel Benton-Reeder is 5th for Better Julia ahead of Gabriel Peckley, while Dominic Rustermeyer and Aaron Curtis occupy row 4 for United Racing Club. Knezovic for HRT rounding out the top 10. Misha Smith in the other HRT is 11th, ahead of Jean Polaro, the only car for Infernal Void and Velocita this afternoon. A solid result for him, hoping he can pick up the first points for that team. Denny Vella for Lucky Hamish Racing, ahead of Gustavo Fragoto for Bravo Snow Schatten. Row 8, Maximilian Jaeger and Gabriel Joubert, who is making his debut in WMSC. Lucky Hamish Racing having 2 cars for the first time. Diogo Meneghetti and João Fernando on row 9, and Mateus Machado and João Marcos Angeli on row 10, rounding out the top 20. Last year was a rain-affected race and a late safety car, which saw a chaotic finish, which saw Philip Pushka win from Lucas Murno and Pascal Polens, but with Pushka not here this afternoon, he won't be able to defend that race win. Gabriel Peckley crossed the line in third on the day, but had a 5-second time penalty. And with the field all bunched up, he missed out on points. But his then teammate for Potenza, Mateus Machado, would score his first WMSC points and his best result to date. It was a very, very interesting day indeed. Both of the races at Montreal so far have been rain affected. At the minute, we have partly cloudy, though, for the race. So this might be the first race, and in fact, the first weekend full stop, actually, as the rain didn't materialise in qualifying either, that we have a completely dry race. But it does open things up to potentially interesting strategy in the race, Robin.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've heard from the team bosses that the performance tire, which is the softest option, is the tire of choice, and this is what the teams want to be on, which might lead to a lot of pit stops that we'll see today. The talk was between 2 and 4 pit stops, so a lot of strategic options here today.
Yeah, and as you kind of mentioned when we were talking ahead of the race, between 2 and 4 is quite a variation indeed. So if we're going to see some varying strategies, this could be very interesting indeed. I was speaking to Axel Laflamme before the race as well. He was saying that, yeah, I think most people are going to want to stick to that performance tyre, just kind of be on the option as little as possible. Very few prime runners expected. And the main issue is not tyre degradation, but tyre temperature. Doesn't matter what compound you're on, if the tyre temperature gets too hot, it kills the tyre. And it seems like the performance tyre is the best one for managing those temperatures. So it'd be interesting to see, because obviously a lot of our information is kind of coming from one camp. So we'll see if the rest of the field agrees with that, and it is a universal issue that actually they're going to be leaning heavily on those performance tyres and doing more stops, because actually the pace it gives you is much better than the durability than, say, the option or the prime tyres will give you as a result.
Yeah, so this is also quite interesting. Usually you would expect, if you have to manage temperatures, that you would rather go for a harder tire, but... Okay, apologies for staying silent there. We just got a call from race control that we are jumping into the race session right now. So as I'm talking right now, this finally puts me in a position to put you on the spot to make a prediction for this race. Who do you think will win it?
Well, it's interesting. Laflamme is in a really good position, but with obviously he's not a race where Lucas Murno and Pascal Polens are race winners. I think I'm going to actually go for Pascal Polens. I think Polens might take it from third. I think they might have the performance edge today. What about you?
Oh, that is interesting. I definitely think it is going to be between Lucas Murno and Pascal Polens. But even before you said Pascal Polens, I was going for Lucas Murno because I think he was very strong here last year. He was very strong here in his first year. I think this track really suits him, and still the Cesarius seems like the fastest car still. So Pascal Polens was never really that close in qualifying, and Murno, yeah, he was beaten just by 6,000s with Laflamme getting a massive tow down the back straight.
Indeed. Well, here we go. The revs go up, the lights come on, and out they go in Montreal. Are we about to see a fourth front winner from 4 races? Laflamme has the inside line. He's got the advantage into turn 1. Oh, they bang wheels. They go side by side. Oh, and Murno is tipped round Laflamme. I think, that'll be interesting to see again who was at fault for there. Has Murno been too... there's cars. I think there's some big contact further down the field as well. And it looks like Laflamme is caught in it. And full course yellow has been caught immediately. And that is an absolute massacre. I think the big question is, was Lucas Murno too aggressive on the attack? Or was Axel Laflamme too aggressive in the defence? It may be 6 of one and half a dozen of the other, but it has caused Laflamme to fly down the field as a result. And then there is a big crash that has caught up Laflamme, Palaro, Jaeger and Fragoto at least. And it will be interesting to see if there will be any action then from that first one. But wow, to quote Murray Walker, it's happened immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I think there was even more. Now we are seeing a replay, so this is going to be interesting.
So it looked like they both got a pretty good start and pretty much neck and neck into turn 1. Obviously, Laflamme has the inside line for the first part of the lap. They bang wheels side by side. Oh, and to me, Murno is they banged wheels not from any aggression. I think that's kind of a racing incident. Murno's pushed off track. Oh my goodness, an absolute carnage. And
he was
Laflamme on his
down
roof.
for a moment.
Oh my word.
Yeah, so these were 2 incidents. So he got caught up in the middle of another fight there. But...
So, yeah, to me, Murno banged wheels. He ended up off track, and I think he's basically done an unsafe rejoin there and tipped Laflamme round. So I would kind of put on Murno from first glance.
I definitely agree with you. So Murno was off track, and you have the responsibility to safely rejoin. On the other hand, like in this opening lap situation, how are you supposed to safely rejoin in this situation? As we see another replay.
So hang on. Yeah, there was Jaeger. Jaeger kind of got caught across the nose of 2 cars. And then I'm not sure what caused the second part of Palaro and Laflamme coming together. But that's a mess. In the meantime, we've got stops. Polens is in. And that's interesting. Have some people just ditched the option tyre?
It might be. I've seen a couple of cars with wide wall tires, but we didn't have the chance to actually take a more in-depth look at it with all of the stuff that's been going on the opening lap. So, but I definitely think it would make sense. I don't see why Pascal Polens would make that early of a pit stop, if not to get the medium out of the way, so the option tire.
And typically, as luck would have it, the RaceView server that we use to kind of track people's tyres throughout the race is globally down. So we can't kind of just reference and double check what their starting tyre was at the moment. So yeah, it might be the case that some people have actually now just given themselves a free hit and can continuously run the soft tyre. Okay, so the first ruling is coming through from race control. So Fragoto has been given a drive-through penalty for causing the collision. So he's the person that kind of tipped Jaeger around. In the meantime, Knežević and... Oh, sorry, I'm just having another update from race control. Still full course yellow. Yes, so basically a racing incident for Laflamme, Knežević, and I'm not sure who the third driver was who was caught up in that, but essentially that was deemed as a racing incident. However, Fragoto will get a drive-through for essentially tipping Jaeger around. And that's the only action. Nothing on Murno. So I wonder if that's been contested at all. I wonder if it's being considered. Or if we're just going to count that as like lap one. So the full course yellow is ending now, and we are off and running once again. And immediately, Cesario has just made that. I think that's Murno who's just made a big dive up the inside into the final chicane. But we're off and running again. And now, from that, Ruben Meshida is leading from Gabriel Peckley, Daniel Benton Reader. Polens is back ahead of Gajano. And it's Murno and Rustamaj, Knežević, Jubert, and Curtis in the top 10. That is whatever we were predicting has been completely thrown out of the window. The order is messed up, and now Ruben Meshida has an incredible chance to try and get a gap on the chasing people who were originally looking like the favourites for winning this race. And immediately Polens is going to look to try and dispatch Benton Reader as quickly as possible. He does not want to lose time, and I think he actually almost nearly went in the back of Benton Reader. He's had to bail out of it. Needs to be careful. Lucas Murno is not far behind, and Gajano I don't think he's going to dive out of a move anytime soon either. Round the hairpin we go. And confirmed from race control, no further action from any other incidents in that opening confrontation. So very interesting for me. There's nothing even mentioned of I would say the altercation that kind of started it all.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think if that happened lap 2, I think it would have been a penalty for Murno for an unsafe rejoin, but essentially he was moving as Benton Reader runs wide and allows Polens through, therefore. Yeah, so yeah, I think it was probably judged because Murno had it was difficult to rejoin safely in that situation with the corners being how they are, so the other option was essentially park it on the grass and wait for the whole field to pass, which, you know,
no
a
one's going to want to do that.
not do. And again, he was kind of pushed there by Laflamme, so I guess they sort of like these incidents cancel each other out, and yeah, it is what it is now. In the meantime, I got information both Vanguards indeed started on the medium tire, so they have now both picked that box and can run on the performance, the softest tire, for the rest of the race. The opposite seems to be the case for Lucas Murno, who is also stopped, but is now on the option. So apparently he started on the performance and is now trying to get the option out of the way. So strategic advantage at this point, I would say, goes to Pascal Polens.
It is, but obviously you're expecting Murno to maybe run a little bit longer in this. So we're maybe expecting maybe an additional stop from the Vanguard boys, because they're going to now just running, we assume, performance tyres from here to the end of the race. In the meantime, as Murno dicing with Gajano, Gajano looked like he was losing it on the exit, and he's able to navigate him very well, and now he's going to go charging after Benton Reader. Poland's already on the back of Peckley, and Meshida has managed to essentially open up a 1.5 second gap into the lead. Poland's is charging hard though. Out of turn 9 we go. We head towards the hairpin. If you're going to look to make a move, remember this year, no DRS. They are just trying to make overtakes the old-fashioned way, using slipstream and a good bit of braking.
And this will be interesting as soon as Poland is released to chase Ruven Meshida, because we've seen the SCMMs were struggling in the early races in terms of straight line speed. So this will be an interesting comparison as Pascal Polands now moves up into P2 and will want to make that P1 in a couple of laps' time.
Yeah, let's see how quickly he is able to kind of rein in Ruven Meshida. He's made quick work of those cars to get himself back up there. That's a really efficient, well done first few laps after the restart. Remember, he's our championship leader, but yet to win a race so far. And he's going to be chasing that elusive first win for his new team today. And already, solid start. He's been able to kind of alleviate some of the pressure from Peckley, and that gap is already closing down to the 1 second mark. In the meantime, Alexander Knezovic chasing down Dominic Rustermeyer in the United Racing Club car. Both of them running together, and again, very close under braking as they enter 8 and 9. Head towards the hairpin. Not trying it here, but might look to use the slipstream. This is good performance from Knezovic, because from what I can tell, he is on the harder option tyre, the medium, compared to the softer Rustermeyer. So this is good pace from Knezovic. The background, Laflamme back to the top 10, taking debutant Joubert out of the points. So, despite being on his roof, obviously some of the damage can be repaired when you pit, but not all of it. So I imagine he is going to be driving with a slightly compromised car, but he is making good time, at least, to be back in the points already.
Yeah, his T-cam might slightly be damaged, but nothing important on top of the car, I guess. So, yeah, still going well then.
Murno. All over the back of Benton Reader. Teammate not too far ahead. Obviously, Murno now with being on the different tyre. He'll just want to kind of be close. Obviously, it's how the pit's not going to offset themselves from now on. You expect him to run longer than the soft tyres ahead. In the meantime, Poland's already looking at making moves on Meshida. Out of the final corner we go. I feel like the best place, unless people are getting brave, is going to be using the slipstream on the run down to the final chicane.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this is the prime overtaking spot on this circuit. There are plenty of those. Turn 1, maybe the hairpin if you're feeling extra brave, but yeah, I think down the back straight, slipstream, and then brake past into the final chicane. This is the way to go here at Montreal.
Absolutely. It's worth noting as well, we started with 20, we still have 20 despite that chaos on lap 1. So everyone is still able to go, but obviously with a few knocks, bruises and penalties having hampered them along the way. But what is the exit like, that final chicane? And Meshida seems to get a much better run out of it, but can Poland's use the slipstream? Meshida goes defensive to the inside. He's going to weave once. He shouldn't go back. Here comes Poland's. He's going to look to make the move on the inside, under braking. and gets it slowed down, and that's nicely done from Pascal Polens. Will Mesher look to try and make a move back? No, I don't think so, and he's taking advantage of the fact that he is on the softer, more grippier tyre, and he's into the lead, and now he's going to want to build that gap, because obviously his tyres are going to wear out much faster than Mescheder, much faster than Murnau. Murnau still stuck behind Daniel Benton-Reeder and his teammate. Benton-Reeder probably being helped out slightly, almost in the wall there from Murnau. He's going to be getting a little bit frustrated, stuck in this train of cars. Bit of a slide from Benton-Reeder, that might be an opportunity. In the meantime, Laflamme already up to 9th, ahead of Knežević, and he is pushing hard to try and get to Rustenmeyer. Obviously, sister cars, all part of the same team, well, under the same umbrella, if you like, not the same team. And Rustenmeyer doesn't fight that too hard. And I imagine the same will be true when Laflamme reaches Curtis just up the road.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think still Rustenmeyer cost Laflamme a bit of time. There was an opportunity to let him pass the chicane earlier, but I think he just didn't expect Laflamme to be this close already. And now Rustenmeyer is under a bit of pressure from Knežević behind.
Knežević is making good pace at the moment. Obviously, not quite as quick as the Vanguard on fresh, soft tyres. But Knežević also trending upwards at the moment, and in the slipstream of Rustenmeyer in the background. But Laflamme, obviously his first pole position lasted all about a corner and a half, unfortunately. But he had a very eventful race, we should say, in Kyalami, with a lot of penalties and a lot of incident, but still managed to finish 6th. So he isn't too bad at damage limitation. Might still be a good result on for him this afternoon.
No, absolutely. And I think Axel has huge potential to become one of the very big names in the WMSC. I mean, he's already there in qualifying. He's beaten Poland the last 2 races. All that he needs now is to find a bit of consistency in the races. And Lucas Murnau, there is even contact with Daniel Benton-Reeder. And Benton-Reeder is still alongside, you can see in his left-hand mirror. And this is going to be an interesting braking zone into the final corner.
Who's going to back out at the minute? As Murnau isn't able to kind of sweep through, and Murnau decides against it. Straight line speed of the Cesario, not able to out-drag Benton-Reeder, and Benton-Reeder stays ahead. Excellent bit of fighting from Benton-Reeder. They may not be in the same fight in terms of the championship, but on track, he's got as much right to 4th place as Lucas Murnau does, and he defends it well. It has relieved a little bit of the pressure on Peckley, which might be a blessing in disguise for Murnau as well, because now he's not going to be getting the toe of a car ahead.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think Murnau is already getting a bit desperate and trying to get a bit inventive. That's why he tried that move down the hairpin, because he could not he's just not close enough on the spots where he would usually try and make a move. And now, there's a bit of sliding.
Oh, and Murnau has just been given a warning by race control for aggressive driving. So he must have been deemed to be at fault for the contact through the hairpin. Obviously, we were on board with him at the time, so not sure, maybe he was trying to kind of squeeze Benton-Reeder out wide. But that very much lends itself to the point you were making, Robin. He's getting a bit frustrated. I mean, he almost seemed frustrated from turn 1 in the fact that, how aggressively he went into kind of with Laflamme, or maybe he was just kind of spur of the moment. But he's going to be getting much more worked up the longer he stays behind that Better Julia.
Yeah, absolutely. He should be in contention for the race win today from what the car is able to do. And of course, he sees Poland's drive off into the distance where he is stuck behind Benton-Reeder. And this is another move by Axel Laflamme, as he just passed Gino Giugiano, who kisses the wall there at the exit.
And that is not a place you see him move often, so he must have taken advantage of maybe Giugiano not getting the best exit. Very brave and brilliant stuff. Laflamme up to 6th. That's very well done indeed, and he's now got a bit of a gap to try and charge up to Lucas Murnau, and that could make Murnau's afternoon even more stressful indeed.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think Laflamme wants to have a bit of revenge on Lucas Murnau, because he surely won't be too happy with that opening couple of corners and the contact these two had.
Indeed, I'm sure both of them will have their own feelings about that contact. I'm sure Murnau will be focused on being pushed wide, and I'm sure Laflamme will be focused on what followed. So it'll be interesting to resume that fight. The question is, will he resume it before or after having to pass Daniel Benton-Reader? Because Murnau still trying to get that move done, and Heckley not reeled back in, but certainly not dropping them either at this point.
Just had a quick chat with the team boss of Vanguard's engineering on the lap 1, turn 1 incident, and well, to no one's surprise, they think Lucas Murnau is at fault for that incident. Yeah, we tended to agree, but I also tend to agree with the no further action because, as I said, lap 1, turn 1, these things unfortunately happen, and yeah.
You can certainly see the point of view, and but I also see yours as well. In that, yeah, it happened in the kind of heat of the moment, and if you're going to kind of give a pass for the wheel banging that sent Murnau off, you have to give a pass as well for kind of what followed, and I see the logic in that absolutely. In the meantime, Mateus Machado, 7th here last year for Potenza, in a fight with Denny Vella between the two Lucky Hamish cars at the moment. And not quite close enough to get the move done. But he is on the softer tyre, so we'll hopefully be able to try and use that grip to his advantage, but we'll be keeping an eye out on how long those tyres last and when people start to make those changes.
Yeah, absolutely, and Mateus Machado started on this tyre, so he's not one of those that had the benefit of an early pit stop, so he started this race on these tyres. But ahead of them, João Fernando is having a very good afternoon so far, staying clear of all of the chaos that happened at lap 1, and he is on the mediums, if my data is correct. So he's doing well currently, just 2 spots outside of the point scoring positions, and well, we've seen in the past how these races can go here. So yeah, a lot of retirements are still possible, even though it is not raining, but the walls are so close to the track, and we have seen a couple of minor maybe there it was very close with Lucas Murnau on the wall there as well. So yeah, anything can happen at any moment on this track. So yeah.
Yeah, and they will be looking at the first points for Bravo Snow Shatton, if possible. But as you say, good work in the first stint on the medium tyres. Let's hope he can push on when he switches to the softs.
Benton-Reed and Murnau are catching up to Gabriel Peckley once again. Murnau, he hasn't tried anything since that aggressive move down the hairpin.
And he's still not got the exit out that hairpin as well to be able to make the move down to here either. So he's a little bit stuck. And this is kind of the trade-off without DRS. It means he's going to have to really work for this. In the meantime, Aaron Curtis side by side with Gajano, and Curtis up to 7th. Good work from them. Solid move indeed. Oh, Gajano going very deep there. Ooh, oh, that's not good. Just misses braking point, or I mean, there is a potential concern because it's a very brake-heavy track. That towards the end of the race, people might have to watch their brake temperatures and avoid brake failures. And obviously, that will be affected by what teams have put their upgrade points into cooling. But I don't think that's an issue there for Gajano. I think it's just a bit of maybe a lapse of concentration, maybe got up by a bit of additional speed from being in the slipstream of Curtis. But now both United Racing Club cars are past the SCMM.
Again, solid afternoon from the two of them. Again, they are on course for a double points finish. It's still early days, but yeah, they are solid midfield contender right from the start, as you said at the beginning of this stream. So working well together and scoring a good amount of points, and I think they're close to HRT in the championship, and for them, it's not looking too well this afternoon so far.
Oh, indeed. And obviously, Misha Smith was caught up in the first lap mayhem and probably dealing with damage considering the amount or the lack of progress being made, because I would expect the HRT to have the performance to kind of reel in Hubert and Palaro ahead. So I imagine Smith fighting with something there. Was Knezovic originally had started in pushing in the right direction, but is on the mediums, but now isn't really pushing forward too much at the moment. So maybe he's looking at preserving rather than pushing, reducing. Because if we're expecting maybe a varying amount of pit stops, maybe their strategy for the afternoon is to minimise the amount of times they are in the pits.
Yeah, at the moment I'm taking a look at the lap times from Knezovic, and he's a bit of in a no man's land. So he's losing on Guggiano ahead, but gaining on Meneghetti behind. So those gaps will pretty much remain. But Guggiano had that big moment, so maybe there's now a bit of a extra motivation to see the car ahead, having gone off. And his opportunity to pounce. So there is Danny Weller, who's now trying to make a move on João Fernando. We've seen this battle develop early on. Fernando defends the inside, late on the brakes. Does he get the corner done? Yes, he does. Runs a little bit wide, almost touches the wall of champions, and that should now allow Weller through into turn one. He has the better line. Oh, but Fernando hangs on to it. Well done, and he defends the position.
Great bit of racing all round. Very respectful, left the space. Vela does have a little look up to the next one, but decides against it. And no change in position, but some good racecraft from both of them there. And that has allowed Mateus Machado back into the conversation as well. So this has now suddenly become a three-way scrap. And they, like I say, they're in the seats just outside of the points. So if anything were to happen up ahead, they are among some of the best be able to benefit from it. But Vela is very close once again. Doesn't look up to the hairpin. Now it's all about the exit from the hairpin so he can be alongside. But it seems like Fernando has gotten the run out. So which side does he go this time? Vela, in the meantime, he's going to go to the inside. Can he be braver on the brakes into the final chicane? Yes, he can. Can he get the corner done? Power out. Oh, Fernando just having a little bit of a squirm on exit. And that has allowed Denny Vela through. In the meantime, Knezovic into the pits. And he ditches his medium tyres after 19 laps. That is very interesting indeed. That's before any of the soft runners have theirs. So he decided, well, actually, I'd rather have the pace than extending. And immediately, though, he's been spit straight out into this battle, and he's going to be all over the back of Denny Vela, who has used mediums on. See how quickly he can maybe make this move. It's not going to be up into turn 8 and 9, I don't think. Benton Reader, in the meantime, also in the pits. He's just released Lucas Murno. La Flamme, I think, is also into the pits. And the activity has started. So here comes the switch. Out we go. Flam feeding back into ninth with a little bit of space. Meneghetti behind has just gone in the pits, so he's got no pressure there. He's got 2 seconds to Daniel Benton Reader. Now this is going to be interesting because Murno obviously was stuck in behind Benton Reader and has lost his chance to do the undercut. But Murno is on the medium tyre and you'd expect would want to run longer. But Knežević has also put a question mark over that by being one of the first people to stop on the medium tyre.
Yeah, so this is interesting. There is a flurry of activity now in the pits. Meneghetti just came in as well. He also started on the performance tyre.
Heckley's also just come in. So Murno promoted to third. And Heckley is about to ditch a soft tyre, so I imagine he's about to get his medium stint out the way, unless he's going to save that to the very end. The question is, where will Benton leader Laflamme factor back in? Well, Laflamme is now up behind Gajano, which isn't going to be helping him too much, and he's going to make the move into one, and he gets across there, but right across turn one. And from experience, I would say has he taken a track limits warning on that and just taken the place? You get so many hits, which is policed by the game. And I would say he was probably over the track limits point there, but has made the pass. That was quite a long way across that curb, but you can also take a lot out of it. So maybe he was fine, but that looked quite a way across.
Yeah, I was about to say, I think it was definitely on the edge, but we have done a fair share in these cars on this game, a fair share of laps on this track, and we found out that the track limits on turn one are very relaxed and lenient, so you can really take a lot of curb there. But yeah, unfortunately we don't get that sort of information. We can only check on the live timing. Well, it does not say outlap for Laflamme, which usually is there if you receive the warning, so I think...
And a great exit from the final chicane means Laflamme goes fastest and sets the fastest lap of the race. So yeah, I think all but confirms, as you say, that was fine. That was the right side of the line. So a brave move to get past Gajano, completely legal, sets the fastest lap, takes Benton Reader. I think he'll be very happy with how his lap 21 has gone. That's brilliant, and now he can go charging up Heckley. And the longer Murno stays out, this is going to be very interesting to see how close he comes out to Axel Laflamme.
Yeah, absolutely. At the moment, it looks like this will be a long way back as Pascal Polens is pitting from the race lead. I think from the two Vanguard cars, from what we heard before the race and the fact that they have gotten the medium out of the way, we will only see pit stops for new performance, aka soft tires, and indeed that seems to be the case. Pretty much straightforward.
Top three are all in.
I think from here, this is Poland's race to lose.
Yeah, I think he's done a much better job of essentially clearing the traffic, not to be kind of disparaging of the cars he overtook, but he cleared them like traffic. And oh my goodness, Murno and Heckley nose to rear wheel. In the meantime, Laflamme is trying to make the move. Oh, and that was too desperate from Laflamme. That was silly, and that's rear wing gone. Oh, and that was a rash move from Axel Laflamme. He saw Lucas Murno was there, and he just pushed it a little bit too hard. And I wonder if there will be more to follow from that.
Yeah.
But Murno is now safe. I wonder how much damage. I think he should be okay for damage. But an unfortunate move to Laflamme, I think, just saw the opportunity for Murno and dived in a little bit too rashly, unfortunately.
Yeah, I guess here will be a replay of that move. He got a run, but this is not...
Yeah. Oh, and we have a full course yellow.
Was Benton Reader in the wall there as well? I think Benton Reader was involved.
Oh yes, he's lost his front wing. Benton Reader's also been caught up in that. Obviously, there's debris on track. Laflamme will be able to get back and get his rear wing fixed. But he's giving himself a very, very hard afternoon. That pole position is going to seem like a long time ago now.
Yeah, and it's just been 25 laps, so uh, he was aggressive on the start, but within the limits, I would say. But this time, that move was just that little bit too desperate.
He thought was going through his head to get on the back of Lucas Murno. But it just wasn't quite the right moment for him. The Benton Reed has been able to change rear wing and get back out in 6th. So not too bad of an impact on his race. Rustemeyer out in 7th. Knežević also into the pits now. Well, it's going to be quite a long hold for Laflamme while the damage gets repaired for the 2nd time today for him. He's going to drop down potentially outside the top 10. But Vela, Fernando, Labau and Machado all coming in the pits now as well. So depends how long this stop is going to be for Laflamme. It's already over a minute long. And Axel Laflamme has been given a drive-through penalty, not just for the incident, but also noted for the fact that he rolled back onto the track as well after that incident in trying to spin the car around. So, drive-through for Axel Laflamme. I don't think you can really argue against that, can you?
No, absolutely. Move was a bit too desperate, and then, yeah, I think he could have done more to avoid just rolling back onto the track at full speed. So, yeah, he's gone for the medium tire as well, unless this is a graphics glitch, but I don't think it is. Haven't had those for a long time, so indeed he may have just gone back on the undesirable medium tire.
Yeah, it's saying option or medium on the timing screen as well. So yeah, it looks like he has decided go on these tyres. Maybe the decision is just try and save time with stopping slightly less. Now that obviously outside the points, and we'll have to complete a drive-through. So now just working hard to try and get back in the points for him. Remember, Vanguard are leading the constructors by just 3 points at the moment. But keep it up. It is all about having 2 cars in the points. It's what HRT did so well in those first 2 seasons. But teams have upped their game. We've got both SCMMs in the points, both Cesarios in the top 5. So you need to keep that consistency of both cars scoring. And Laflamme will work to try and do that, I am sure. But we have had the call from race control. The full course yellow will be ending very soon.
This could be a very good afternoon for Cesario, even if they don't win this race. This is a very good opportunity to catch up in the constructors' battle. SCMM, well, they're missing one of their lead drivers. Gagiano still in the points, but this will only be 2 points where he's currently at. Machida still in 2nd, but I think Murno can still beat Machida 2 seconds.
And the full course yellow ends with Curtis go. Oh my goodness. Just alongside a Magnum, which immediately spins up its rears and is into the wall. Is that Marcos Angeli, I think?
Yeah, he's the only Magnum in here today, so...
And immediately Angeli, without a front wing, it was an awkward place for Curtis to have to restart alongside a back marker. But they managed it just fine. Gianmarco Angeli, however, just tried to get the power down. Moved out the way, rightly so, but then ended up in the wall. So immediately going to be back in the pits for Angeli. But remarkably, despite everything, all 20 cars that started are still running. With Alexander Knežević, who's now running in 8th. Now on to the soft tyre. Gagiano chasing. Rustemeyer ahead. But that does help Lucas Murno in terms of he's got some clear air now to try and push on to see if he can at least catch Meshida. And Poland's obviously quite a gap to make up, a total of 16 seconds between him and Poland's. Well, let's see what he can do now. He's kind of been released from the traffic. In the meantime, Meshida running well, but it definitely does seem like the SCMM isn't the quickest car this afternoon. Slightly lagging behind. That straight line speed possibly still an issue for them.
Yeah, it's crazy. I was about to say in these earlier races as well, this feels like Formula One in the 80s kind of a bit, where one weekend you have one team dominating absolutely everything, like it was with SCMM at Montreal, and then a week later, Bahrain, they're absolutely nowhere. So that is quite fun to watch this development race as well, and it will throw up a lot of twists and turns in the following season as well.
Now, Vanguard teammates are just trading fastest laps. The Flams just set the fastest one, only to be immediately outdone by Poland's. So both cars pushing really hard as you see that aggressive line across turn one from Ruben Meshida. And he's starting to push hard now. I think he might know that Lucas Murno is eating into the gap. It was 7 seconds. It's 3/10 down already. So they're going to have to push. All of the top six, all on performance tyres at the moment. Rustemeyer currently the highest running driver on the medium.
I'm also watching the lap times now come between Meshida and Murno. So Murno's last lap was about 3/10 quicker than Ruben Meshida. So this might be a battle that we could see later on, but let's just see how this develops the longer they run. But at the moment, Murno is gaining slightly.
Yeah, it's certainly not rapid, but you can see the gap is slowly over the course of the lap coming down. Gabriel Peckley facing Aaron Curtis. Curtis in a very good position in that United Racing Club car.
Yeah, they snuck up to fourth in all of the chaos that we saw so far, so this is really an opportunity for those teams to score some big points.
The Peckley, though, will be wanting to maximise. Obviously very disappointed to miss out on points last year due to the penalty. But this year, made a solid start to his career with Cesario. He'll be working his way up fourth very soon. The gap coming down.
Yeah, Peckley surely was disappointed after crossing the line in third and then not scoring a point here, but he became a regular point-scoring figure later in 2024, and that is what has promoted him into that Scuderia Cesario drive, and he stood on the podium already in Bahrain this year, and today, who knows, could be another great result for him. We know from last year that he likes this track.
Absolutely. Not quite close enough to maybe make the move just yet. There's plenty of time. Regardless, Curtis is keeping good pace. And certainly not making it easy for Peckley. Quick rundown of your top 10. Pascal Poland's leads from Ruben Meshida and Lucas Murno. Aaron Curtis is just ahead of us on screen, and we're riding with Gabriel Peckley in 5th. Daniel Benson-Reader in 6th, ahead of Dominic Rustemeyer in the other United Racing car. Alexander Knezevich 8th, ahead of Gino Gajano, who's in today for Philip Pushka. Axel Flam currently running 10th, but I believe yet to serve that drive-through penalty for his contact with Peckley. And that's ahead of Denny Vella, who will no doubt inherit a spot from that drive-through. Fernando Lebao, Tess Machado, Jean Palauro in 14th. As mentioned by team boss of Infernal Void, Muller in the chat, wasn't sure why Palauro didn't stop during the VSC, but is currently out there ahead of Menegretti. Maximilian Jaeger is 16th. The other HRT of Mish Smith in 17th. As I say, we definitely think Smith is struggling with damage due to the performances of both Smith and that HRT. And then ahead of Frigoto, Jube and Marcos Angeli in the only Magnum, bringing up the rear as Gijano clips the wall of champions as he's reeled in Alexander Knezovic. He's looking to try and pick up a spot. Laflamme in the pits now serving his drive-through just behind them. But Gijano getting tucked up right behind Alexander Knezovic. Oh, and it's another slap to the wall from Gijano, and maybe the dirty air playing a little bit of a part in that.
Yeah, and that looked like a bigger hit, so I think the suspension might have taken some damage from that.
Yeah, definitely. We mentioned the drivers have said dirty air is much more of an issue this season. So that coupled with lack of DRS means he's got to really work hard for the move, as Gabriel Peckley looks to do just that, but thinks better of it there. All over the back, but pressure on Curtis now means spinning up the rears is very close. He's going to try and go to the outside, but Curtis placing the car well. Oh, there's a little bit of contact there, but again, Curtis holding strong. And Peckley getting a little bit restless, but Curtis staying very cool there. In the meantime, Gijano is going to the outside, but Knezovic tries to leave his nose in. But they leave each other the space. Knezovic clearly thought, I can outbrake here, but Gijano goes later, and they hold station through 1 and 2. And the battle renews.
Actually, I think Gijano moved up a spot. Wasn't he behind before?
But yes, he has gotten the move done. Sorry, yeah, you're quite right. He managed to get the move done. Knezovic tried to counter, and didn't get the move, didn't get the place back. So yes, Gijano now ahead, and he's got Rustemeyer right there.
Also, Laflamme, after his drive-through penalty, is already up to 11th again. He briefly dropped behind João Fernando, but made that move immediately on his outlap. But yeah, I mean, if you ever want to get a drive-through penalty, it is at this track, because the pit lane is just so short and you kind of cut through 2 corners. So I think that is what helped him as well here.
Indeed, so a very good chance to kind of back in the points yet, as long as he can keep his nose clean for the rest of the race. In the meantime, Gijano already moving to within striking distance of Nick Rustemeyer. Will definitely be getting some benefit of the slipstream for sure.
Yeah, also Gijano is on the performance tyre, whilst Rustemeyer is currently on the option.
As we charge through turn 6 and 7. He's tucked up behind very quickly, and he's going to be under the rear wing up to here. Are we going to see a brave move into 8 and 9, or are we going to see patience? He's having a little look, but not quite yet. So again, we hold station up to the hairpin. Knezovic will be hoping for maybe a little bit of a fight here to bring himself back into the mix. But no, Gijano waiting. And Axel Laflamme's afternoon has just gotten a little bit more difficult. He has crossed the pit exit line upon leaving his drive-through, and has now picked up a 5-second time penalty. So even more for Laflamme to do. He's having a messy couple of races. In the meantime, though, we flick between 2 battles. One between Cesario and a United Racing Club car, and the other between the FCMM and this United Racing car. And both of them currently doing a good job at keeping their aggressors behind.
Yeah, Peckley also seemed to be getting a bit desperate now. I think that definitely was a cut through turn 1, and Gijano again the same wall that he touched earlier. So far, it doesn't seem as this has damaged his car a lot, but he really is on the edge again, very close to the wall. Again, tucked right under the rear wing of Rustemeyer. Rustemeyer again moves late towards the outside.
And when Knezovic is now back into it, it's affecting Gijano's speed through the corners, the dirty air having to back out of it. And what he really needs to focus is making sure he gets better exit from this hairpin. And that's pretty good. He's going to be tucked up behind now. It's the long run down to the final chicane. Which side does Rustamai go to try and defend? He moves a bit. He's going to pick the inside. Gajano steps out. We know the SUM, though, hasn't got the best straight line speed. And as soon as he steps out, isn't able to get the move done. He's hoping that he can send Rustamai offline. Not quite yet. So it's going to go to turn one. Is he going to look to the inside here? Nope, he's not there again. Is he going to have to duck out late? He's going to try. He doesn't, but Knežević is there as well. And Knežević is just reminding, oh, I'm here. Don't forget about me. And they hold station again. And this is going to be another lap of close quarters racing. And Gajano goes a little bit deep there. And now Knežević is right behind again. And now immediately attack turns to defence. Knežević has a little think about it into turn 6, but not quite. Powering out, and they hang on. In the meantime, Peckley has managed to get the move done, we think, towards the chicane. Yes, Peckley's ahead of Curtis. Curtis tucks into the slipstream. Will they have a look back? I think they do. They're up the inside. Is Curtis going to come straight back for the final chicane? They do. And they swap back again. Peckley now has the slipstream towards turn 1, to the inside. And is Peckley going to look for it? I think so. They leave each other the space. Going to try to send it round the outside of 2. But Curtis has hung on. Absolutely brilliant fighting from these two and brilliant defensive driving from Aaron Curtis.
Oh, who said you can't race with these cars? That is absolutely brilliant to watch. Curtis and Peckley and the Rustamai Gajano Knežević battle. That is some fantastic racing we're seeing on.
No, that's brilliant. All happening at the same time. In the meantime, Peckley is still not done yet. He's already made the move once up to the hairpin, which is where we just joined this battle. In the meantime, Maximilian Jaeger has got a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision, and I believe clearly something that we've not seen there. But here, now it changes round again. It's going to be Curtis on the defensive into the final chicane. Slipstream for Peckley. Peckley's going to move out to the inside. Through the final chicane we go. And gets the move in there. Can Curtis respond? And immediately Peckley's going to defend the inside to 1. The slipstream is strong. Is he going to send it around the outside of 1 so he's got the inside for 2? No. Peckley manages to chop across. And has Peckley finally got that move done?
Yeah, I think so, yes. I think Curtis was saved by the good straight line speed that the United Racing Club car has, but now through the more technical, flowy bits of the circuit, Peckley should be able to build a gap, and immediately that is happening. 0.8 already the gap to...
Oh, and I think Knežević is past Gajano, and Gajano's lost a little bit of time, and immediately Knežević is on the back of Rustamai. We will have a look in a minute. Oh, Peckley. Peckley's just gone down the order. Is that a glitch?
He's even behind... No, I think he...
Has he fallen behind Benson Reader? What's happened to Peckley?
Yeah, he has. That must have been something big, because look at the gaps. Benson Reader is 2.6 behind Curtis.
Doesn't look like the car is damaged. We're about to... So here's the... This is Gajano. So this is what happened to Gajano. He was again on the attack of Rustamai and had to bail out of it. So now Knežević is going to try and overtake Rustamai. These United Racing Club cars proving very hard to pass. And we'll try and find out what happened to Peckley as well. Because now, after all that, Peckley has got to do it all over again to try and catch and pass Curtis. So here we go towards... Oh! That is a big... That is as close as you can get to a disconnect without it being a disconnect, I think.
Yeah, he was even reset to the pits briefly. Well, on our screen.
Yeah. If anything, he's very lucky to still be in sick. So, that will be very frustrating for him after having worked so hard to get the move. In the meantime, Knežević is past Dominic Rustamai. We don't, honestly, it's all happening all at once. Knežević is past Rustamai. Gajano is now back on behind Rustamai. Once again, you're not going to get the move done there. This is how this is finally played out. Knežević into the final chicane. Oh, and we've got a slow car in Sector 2. Please tell me that's not Gino Gagiano. It's not. These three are still fighting and have now very much passed Sector 2. Here's an opportunity for Gagiano. Oh, and as you can see, the SCMM straight line speed hitting the rev limiter on that straight so early. No wonder he's struggling. And this is was that Laflamme is the slow car?
Yeah, the call was the slow car is Laflamme.
Oh, and it's a front wing gone for Laflamme. What has happened to him?
That is some crazy stuff. In the meantime, I wonder if the United Auto Club boys have gotten the call to not defend as hard to save tires or something. And this is... the slightest of touches with the exit wall there has become a big slide and a big hit.
Just pushing a little bit too hard, clearly trying to shut the gap, and now to get in the points, Laflamme has got to make up even more time again. With over half the race gone, he's running out of time.
Yeah, and well, we see a bit of visual damage when they lose their front or rear wing or a tire even. But there is also damage that is invisible to us, and that was quite the big hit with the wall. So I would be very surprised if there is not more damage to Laflamme's car than that front wing that we were able to see. So this now has gotten an almost impossible task of making it back into the points.
Such a shame after starting on pole, and as shown multiple times, incredibly quick, but just has these moments. Oh my goodness! Has these moments where it's just maybe trying to be a little bit too aggressive or just pushing a little bit too hard, and it results in a mistake and it results in lost time, and it's just shown a little bit there again. And yeah, Laflamme is absolutely capable of getting podiums and winning races. Already got a podium, ironically though, not with this team. Did it last year with Costech. But yeah, to do it more consistently, just needs to kind of iron out the aggressive edges, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe this is also a bit of a thing with getting frustrated in the car, which I totally get. I would be frustrated if I was in his position. There is this turn one, lap one incident that is not really his fault.
Yeah.
Then there is that other incident that immediately happens afterwards that is also not his fault, where he just was caught out in an unfortunate situation, and then yeah, one thing kind of leads to the other, and then you find yourself in 17th battling Polaro.
Yeah, there's definitely frustration there, and I got a good move there to get it done. Has using the fresh softs. Polaro's not looking like he's going to give it up though straight away, but I think the move might be just about done there. So yeah, a little bit of work to do if he's going to actually get into the points. Oh, and then there's a call for Barrow and Laflamme for the blue flag of the United Racing Club car there. Laflamme decides, I'm going to get through the chicane first and then duck out of the way. But is that going to allow Polaro back? It does put him closer, but not in dangerous levels. And now Laflamme is going to be hoping whichever of those United Racing Club cars that is, I imagine Curtis is going to be now wanting them to hurry up and push, because Laflamme is clearly got the pace to go quicker.
Yeah, absolutely. That is a very frustrating call now as well for Laflamme to be able to remind it. So there was a reminder from race control that for Polaro and Laflamme. But Laflamme is obviously able to go quicker. So let's just hope they resolve this situation internally. They're sister teams, and it seems like they absolutely did that. And Aaron Curtis let Laflamme through because, well, quite obviously, Laflamme is now going to pull away.
Yeah, this is it. So can avoid the blue flag calls now. In the meantime, Jano and Knezovic, after kind of having to battle with Rustenmeyer, who's just hit by the looks of it, They resume the battle with each other for what is now 7th place. We imagine these guys are going to be stopping quite soon as well. We'll see how this plays out. But Gajano
dialed it out of the airfield.
Yeah. We'll see. See what he can do coming up to the final chicane. To see hampered by that straight line speed. But Knezovic in.
Oh, and remember what we said like 20 laps ago about the fight between Meshed and Murno? That might soon happen. Gap is almost below 2 seconds.
And you know what? If it is coming time to make stops again, I wonder if Lucas Murno might leverage a bit of an undercut to help shut that gap a little bit as well. It certainly might help Knezovic out. He's got a lap on fresh rubber. He's managed to come out. I think that might be.
I think that is a car that's a lap ahead.
Yes, I think so.
Meshed.
Oh, and full course yellow. Full course yellow has been called, and all of a sudden that undercut advantage might be about to go down the drain. So we're in full course yellow, but it will be a virtual safety car. So if I'm understanding that correctly, the field will bunch up?
Absolutely. So this is because if you remember in Kalami, there was a lot of penalties given for safety car infringements. So now that... Oh, John Polaro in the wall there. So this is the cause.
I don't even want to look at the chat for Paul Muller, the team boss's reaction. He's had a very rough day with only being able to field one of the possible 4 seats across his 2 teams. And yeah, the rough ride continues. And for the last 3 races, oh my goodness.
That looks like a hardware failure to me.
That must be. Obviously bailing out. Yeah, you need to kind of go to the left of that cone. But I don't think you would misjudge that heavily.
No, it looked very odd.
In the past 3 races, it is 5 DNFs out of a possible 5. It is a tough time for Infernal Void and Velocita. Hopefully, it can turn around soon. Race leader Pascal Polens will use this opportunity to pit. I imagine most of the top 3 will. Going to be some slight reorganising of the field as well, I imagine, with some lap cars being allowed to unlap.
Oh, and Knezovic has now lost out big time. He was ahead of Gajano. Gajano now was able to do his pit stop on the full course yellow / safety car conditions. Poland is already out of the pits. Meshed only coming in.
Okay. Race control are allowing every car an opportunity to pit, and then they will basically end the virtual safety car and turn it into a full safety car. The terminology is full course yellow, I should say. So the full course yellow will be converted into a classic safety car, if you like, once everyone has pit. Now, my sense is Knezovic is pitting again, which is interesting. He has. I wonder why he stopped a second time.
Well, I think he didn't lose position, so this is maybe to just have 1 lap fresher performance tires. I don't know.
I guess so. Majority of the field are running the performance. By the looks of it, the highest running non-performance tyre is Daniel Bentonreader in 5th. So it is now virtual safety car. So they're not racing. They are now just kind of going full speed or quicker speed to essentially bunch up behind this man, the leader of the race, Pascal Polens.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, no, sorry, carry on. I was done.
So we just got another call from race control, and this is that Pascal Polens, as soon as he has crossed the finish line, he will slow down to 120 kph max, and then they will still all be able to go as quick as they can. They just have to take care to not overstep the limits at the point where Polaro's crashed. He has now been allowed to retire the car, and this is now the new format that these safety cars will work to avoid any misunderstandings or penalties. So they are now all allowed to race.
And there's just confirmation from race control that everyone who is a lap down will be allowed to unlap. We're just waiting for these guys to cross the line and essentially catch up in the queue. And there are quite a few, as you can see, quite a few cars. Over half the field will be unlapping themselves. But this does make things a little bit more interesting. It's going to bunch up the two quickest guys on the track. Murno has been able to get ahead of Meshida. The race controller is still... He's just trying to clarify people shouldn't automatically unlap themselves. They want everyone to queue up first and then allow unlapped cars to unlap, which is as you'd expect.
Yeah, so apologies for a bit of awkwardness and silence and stopping talking. That is because we now have gotten a lot of calls from race control regarding this new safety car procedure that has been introduced ahead of this race. So this is not our brains freezing out, but
we were just getting another one there. Okay, so we are now bunching up. Murno has been able to get ahead of Meshida in that safety car period.
I have no clue how that happened. To
be
honest. They were both pitting.
And I know that there are differences in pit crew, like speeds, but surely it won't be that much unless there was some damage that was being repaired on Meshida's car that we weren't aware of. That took a bit longer. That's the only thing I can think of. Because they were I think they both pit under the virtual safety car. Or the full course yellow, I should say.
Yeah, they did. We definitely saw Meshida go in. Murno, we didn't see him in the pits, but I see that he has 3 pit stops to his name now, so he must have been in as well.
Yeah, this is going to make things very interesting up the top. That top 4 among the quickest. I think Peckley versus Meshida is going to be interesting. Murno versus Polens is going to be very interesting. It's going to bunch up Gajana, or Curtis, Benton, Reeder, Gajana, Weller, Knezovic, all going to be a fascinating fight. But now it's also a lifeline for Axel Laflamme down in 13th, with the pack bunch back up, who will look to get in the points. And Rustermeyer, who's also got the pace in 11th, would look to get ahead of Fernando. But it's also great for Fernando Labau, who will not want to give up that 10th place so easily, as a potential first point for Bravo Snow Shatton. So this is going to get very spicy on the restart, I think.
Yeah, but Danny Weller will be very frustrated with that, because he had a lap on everyone. He was almost guaranteed a point without that safety car at the moment, but now that will make his afternoon a little bit more tricky. But again, just by steering clear of trouble, Danny Weller has managed to put a lucky Hamish into 8th.
Already managed to score points once this season. On debut for Lucky Hamish, 7th back in Australia, but has yet to grace the top 10 since. Very close, 11th in Bahrain, so just missing out on the points there. But obviously for the first time joined by Gabriel Joubert, who is down in 18th at the moment, running 2 laps down. Very much getting used to things in WMSC. So, race control is just naming the list of drivers that will unlap themselves once and once only. So everyone is moving over to the side and those cars are unlapping themselves. So as you can see, everyone who was one lap down is going to suddenly move on to the same lap. And just clarifying from race control, there should be no overtaking between those cars and lapping themselves. They just must stay in race order. We're just waiting. So Gibet's through. I think we're just waiting for Marcos Angeli now to come through, who was 2 laps down. He's having to take the grass. I think not a uniform side picked there by the leading pack, but now all of those lapped cars have now successfully unlapped themselves once. So we are just waiting for those cars from Alexander Knezovic down to Marcos Angeli to catch up with the back of the pack, and then we can go racing again. We are currently on lap 47 of 69, so there is still a decent time to go. Looking at that time left, do we think that most people will have completed their final stops now?
I would say yes, because usually now later this race the tire life should increase with the cars getting lighter and lighter. There is no refueling in WMSC, so I think we will have seen all of the scheduled pit stops now, unless anyone has not taken the opportunity to stop. But I think they all have been into the pits.
I think everyone took the chance as well, from what I can see. So, just to help bunch up the field quicker, Pascal Polens has been instructed to drive slightly slower than the limited 120 kph. Then just allow these guys to catch up to the rear of the pack very quickly. And in fact, Alexander Knezovic can already see them there. Now, assuming if everyone else can make good time behind them, might be only a lap away from restarting, maybe 2 at the most.
Yeah, I think we will have to wait for another lap. I'm not sure how quick Marcos Angeli will catch up to them. Now this is João Fernando, who's just arrived at the back of the queue. There's Rustenmeyer. I'm not sure whether João Fernando was in the pits, to be honest. Or if they thought they would take track position, though I don't know why they would ever do that.
Yeah, it's interesting. They've only had 2 stops. Same for Dominic Rustenmeyer as well, up in 11th. But Rustenmeyer didn't stop long before this safety car, because obviously he was up with Gajano and Knezovic, and then dropped down the order.
But it might also be that João Fernando, that this is right, and they pitted for the second time during this safety car period.
And we have just had confirmation that the race will restart at the end of this lap. So we will go racing on lap 49 of 69, which means we will have 21 laps to go. And as far as we can tell, it's going to be a straight sprint. Everyone on fresh, soft tyres at the end of the race. The 2 fastest, Polens and Murno, are up the front. The 2 people we predicted that might win this race at the beginning, after all of the chaos, are now back at the front and right together. Meshida and Peckley just behind, who will take up the fight for that final podium place. Then it's Curtis Benter, Rudi Gajano, Vela, Knezovic, and Fernando Labau currently in the points. But Rustenmeyer, Machado, Laflamme, Fragoto, Meneghetti, Jaeger, and Smith will hopefully try and do something about that. Joubert and Marcos Angeli, the only drivers not on the lead lap after that safety car. We are now just waiting for when Pascal Polens decides to drop the hammer down and go. Where on this final straight does he go? How early does he go? And we're going to get some synchronized weaving as we just wait for the moment. Doesn't want to leave himself open to an attack immediately. Polens is going to hang on I think, as late as possible. Is he going to go through the chicane, or is he going to try and dart before it? Going to go through the chicane. He's not even going to put the hammer down straight afterwards. He waits, he holds, and he goes. And that is the moment. Green flag, 21 laps to go at Montreal. Poland manages that very well indeed. He makes sure there's going to be no attack from Murnau, and they've been able to completely drop Meshida and Peckley as well. Oh, and Laflamme across turn one there. That looked a little bit deep as well. But everyone through, everyone away, and racing resumes with no issues.
Yeah, good restart by Poland. They immediately dropped Meshida, as you said. Laflamme already trying to make moves down the inside of Rustenmeyer. He tries to go.
Oh. And interestingly enough, Frigoto and Meneghetti have just told to let Maximilian Jaeger through as they overtook under safety car. So they've told them to lay back through, and that has just been done. In the meantime, Curtis right behind Peckley, and Peckley is just trying to get away from this train. We were thinking that from around Curtis down there would be quite a fight, and I think we're about to see another big battle. Aaron Curtis's defensive work is clearly not done this afternoon, and he might even get on the attack too. And we've got Knezovic up ahead of Vela already. Laflamme is already up past Rustenmeyer. Curtis in the meantime close tackling to turn one. Here comes Vela. We've got Fernando Labau trying to get in there, but look at Laflamme approaching menacingly.
That is crazy how much later Laflamme is able to break there. He gained like 3-4 car lengths.
That is insane. A combination of, maybe partly down to the driver, but also you've got to think about obviously the relative performance packages of these cars and the upgrades. Vanguard, of course, taking up Tim and Lee Sport's spot from last year, and you can tell it's not a bad package at all. Straight line speed up to the inside of Fernando Labau, and takes the Bravo Snow Shaft and out the points. Laflamme is back in the points once again. Denny Vella next. And to be fair, considering all the contact and damage he's had, that steering wheel is tracking surprisingly straight.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, there is nothing, right? It looks okay.
Looks good. So he's going to push on.
Benton Reader and Gagiano seem to have a battle. Gagiano briefly moved past Benton Reader, but now Benton Reader has retaken that position into the final chicane. Apparently, Gino has not given up yet. He is very close to the edge of the track, on the limit but not over, and Benton Reader defends P6.
Now, Ruben Meshida is interesting to set the fastest lap of the race. Maybe it's because Poland isn't able to pull away. Murnau is sticking with, and Meshida might be making it a three-way fight. And actually, Ruben Meshida might not be done either. He's not out of this. The top three have checked out.
Absolutely, but Pascal Poland has the advantage of the straight line speed. We've seen it before. The SCMM and the Cesario not as quick in a straight line. We saw it when Peckley tried to pass the United Racing Club of Curtis, I think it was earlier, and also Gagiano battling, and as soon as they go out of the slipstream, they were struggling to keep up the speed.
It's going to be a very, very tense final. 19 laps now. As you can see, Meshida just can't stick with them through the best overtaking spot on the track, but I imagine we'll close right up now to this point. Lucas Murnau with now the new fastest lap. They're going to trade blows. Obviously extra important for Meshida to get a good result this afternoon after missing last week due to illness, and his teammate ending up picking up the win. But at the minute, podium is on at the minimum.
This now requires absolute perfection from Pascal Poland. He needs to nail every exit for the next 19 laps, as Meshida was having a little look there, trying to unsettle Lucas Murnau.
And it's great to see these three cars with their three different philosophies and engines all so closely matched on track. Those strengths and weaknesses. The main weakness of the SCMM now about to come into play. Just listen to the engine as we get to the end of this straight.
Still gaining though.
Gaining in the slipstream, but very hard against that rev limiter. Oh my goodness though, but not the best run through that final chicane. Lost a little bit of time there. In the meantime, Lucas Murno, gap currently 6/10. You can see getting right across that first left-hander. Going to have to try and apply as much pressure as he can. Hope for a mistake. It's working out almost perfectly. It will this last stint since the safety car restart will almost be the perfect length for a stint of these tyres, so they will start to go off towards the end. In the meantime, Benton Reader, the next driver trying to pass Aaron Curtis around Montreal. Previous attempts will, they'll tell you it's not that straightforward. Curtis getting a good exit. Benton Reader now tucked up under the rear wing. Curtis moving to the left. Benton Reader moving out to the right. Going to push in under braking, but not close enough, and decides not to leave a nose in. It's interesting now because in the background, okay, Laflamme has already passed Knezovic. Oh, and I think Jaeger, I think this is from earlier, Jaeger, we've just been reminded by race control, Jaeger has a 5-second time penalty from earlier in the race. That's the only penalty currently for any of our drivers running. Now, Hollands and Murno have put a little bit of a gap to Messenger. I think maybe that incident out of the final corner has cost Messenger time and is struggling to get back in maybe the toe of the Cesario ahead of him. But at the minute, it is holding around 0.6 of a second, and Murno isn't like making any kind of big erratic moves trying to unsettle. I think maybe just biding time at the moment, potentially.
Yeah, I think he was very close, like 2-3 laps after the restart. There, the gap at the end of the straight was like 0.2. But since then, Poland has not been in immediate danger of being passed by Murno.
No, and if Poland can keep Murno at arm's length for the rest of the race, I'm sure he'll be happy. Oh, Gajano, I think, has just made it past Curtis. In fact, Curtis was fighting Benton Reader, so Curtis has lost a couple of spots there.
Yep. So,
and now more. Another one. I wonder what's just happened to Aaron Curtis. They were 5th, sorry, but are now down in 8th.
There was a bit of a wiggle from their car.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll be able to see what happened to them shortly, but as it stands, that has released Benton Reed to the front of this queue, now being chased by Gajano and the ever-charging Axel Laflamme, and incredibly, Axel Laflamme, if he can stick 2 solid moves, he'll be back in the top 5. And this is what happened to Aaron Curtis. So Curtis is again moved from Benton Reader. They tried to go side by side with the final chicane. That's never going to happen. Has to yield one position after bouncing over the sausage curb. Immediately has to then go on the defensive from Axel Laflamme. What happens here? Oh, and just goes a bit wide on exit. Or is that maybe a connection issue potentially?
Yeah, I think both at the same time, running a bit wide, but there definitely was a connection issue. Lots of micro teleports there going through front 1 and 2.
And no further action from Curtis Benton Reader. I think that was just a case of 2 into 1 not going there. In the meantime, after a lot of the day no man's land, Misha Smith is up to 13th. Still probably needing a little bit of help from cars ahead if he's going to get in the points this afternoon, and clearly still nursing some issues with the car. But it's looking a lot better than it was, and he's trying to shut the gap to Fernando Labau in the Bravo Snow Chat in their head. being chased by Maximilian Jaeger, who has that 5-second time penalty.
Yeah, I think also now is the time when we would see some issues with the brakes if someone has not taken any care of them.
Oh, and the Flam has already cleared Gagiano.
La Flamme is still on for a top 5 finish here today.
It's when he, because obviously he's very good in making moves, and when they stick, it's incredible. It's just the moments where it's slightly oversteps that have caused him problems, especially this afternoon. But now charging towards Daniel Benton-Reader, and what an incredible recovery if he can make it stick.
Yeah, but now he has a very tough opponent in Daniel Benton-Reader. He does not give in easily, so 2 very aggressive drivers, and on their day they are able to pull off spectacular moves, but sometimes both of them have a tendency to overstep the limit, so let's hope this is a good and clean fight we will see now for P5.
Indeed, not quite close enough yet, within a second, and relying on the slipstream to pull him ever closer. We know the Vanguard is good in a straight line. Pascal Poland's in the meantime fastest lap of the race, the gap up to a second between him and Murnau up front, currently controlling things nicely.
Yeah, I also got info from Kevin Peters, team boss of Vanguard Engineering, that after the restart they were mainly concerned about saving tires, so this is probably why they were so close together, and they were very well aware of Murnau lacking straight line speed. This is exactly what we've talked about when we saw them fighting and being very close on the back straight. And now both Murnau and Mercedes tires might be struggling.
So playing a bit of a long game there, and it's coming to fruition. Poland's Daimler Flam just trying to get himself close enough.
If he gets this done quickly, Peckley is not too far up the road either.
This is true. At the minute, gap is down to about half a second, so it's getting closer. He might need another lap or 2 though. But then as you get closer, the slipstream gets exponentially more powerful. Not the best exit from the final chicane though. Gonna have to work for this. And again, another demonstration of just the braking. How good the Vanguard, or potentially even Axel Flam, is under braking into one. Concertinaing up. Got to watch out for that dirty air as they fire through these fast sweeping sections out through turns 6 and 7.
Well, Flam definitely has not been saving tires, so this might also be a concern for how long he can stick that close behind Benton-Reader.
Wonder if maybe it's get into 5th and then try and just hold station towards the end. Or Benton-Reader looks like he's gone a little bit deep there. And this is a big opportunity now for Flam.
Yeah,
3/10 of a second at the start of the straight. Oh! I feel like it looked like Benton-Reader was going to go one way and then kind of went back the other, but Flam again maybe kind of assumed that Benton-Reader was going to move out of the way. A little bit of contact there, but move done. Into turn 1 we go. And now he hangs on. The question is, has he got the time and the tyres to close down Gabriel Peckley? 4 seconds is the gap. We have 10 to go.
We'll keep an eye on the lap times. So Peckley's last lap time in free air was 1:14.6. Flam behind Benton-Reader was able to also match the 1:14.6.
Oh, and Benton-Reader has been warned for the late move on the straight there. But no harm done, and Flam is going to start to pull clear. And we'll keep one eye on 10th position. Denny Vella is about a second clear of Dominic Rustemeyer. But they will fight over the last points position. Can Vella pick up his second point scoring result of the season? Or Rustemeyer, who's been a permanent fixture in the Blinks pretty much all afternoon, can he recover to take this one back? This could be an interesting battle between these two. And what can Vella do to stop the United Racing Club driver?
Yeah, this gap has largely remained the same since the restart, I think. I just had a look on the last lap times from Peckley and Laflamme. Peckley, again, consistently doing a 1:14.6. Laflamme's last lap time was 1:14.4, just a tenth quicker, and that would not be enough. So he needs to find some time still somewhere to be able to move up into fourth. For the moment, it looks like Peckley is safe.
And as you say, if he's maybe ridden his tyres quite hard quite early to get those positions, it might be a case of, get as far as you can, now just preserve to the end. Because considering the afternoon that Axel Laflamme has had, despite the fact it started with pole position, I think he could be quite happy with still coming home in fifth after everything that's occurred.
Yeah, absolutely. In the meantime, we had our second DNF. Maximilian Jaeger is listed as a DNF. We haven't seen that anything happened to him. Either it's a disconnect or he has come to the pits to retire. Don't have any further information on that at the moment.
Usually you get a call. You cannot just retire the car if you have an accident. You have to wait for race control to tell you. So it doesn't seem like I had a big accident anywhere. Obviously, if he has had an accident and then just quit straight out, that would be a penalty for breach of the rules. And we've just had confirmation from race control that Jaeger did indeed retire in the pits, brought the car in to retire the car.
Our information from Maximilian in the chat, brakes are gone, is the cause for Maximilian Jaeger's DNF. So, it happened after all.
And that's interesting because Beta Giulia were one of the cars that we thought might be at risk because of the fact they've not upgraded their cooling as high as other teams. So Daniel Benton-Reader, not currently under pressure from Gino Bijano, but I imagine might be hoping to just guide home safely with that knowledge.
Yeah, absolutely, and it's not like Benton Reader has been taking it easy today, so we've seen a lot of action from him, a lot of battles that he has to take, so he might have used quite a lot of his brakes, so let's just hope that he's able to hang on to them for the next 6.5 laps.
Gap is holding pretty steady between Vella and Rustemeyer on screen, as it is between our two leaders, well, our leading pair, I should say, Poland's Murno, holding at about a second, and seemingly at arm's length for both of them. Is just about not making any errors, not making any silly mistakes to allow a window for their opponents to have a look.
Peckley's lap times have dropped a bit. The last was a high 1:14.8, whereas Axel Laflamme still 1:14.5. So he's gained over 3/10 that last lap. But Peckley now back with a 1:14.59 compared to 1:14.43. So there are minor gains from Laflamme in comparison to Peckley, but still nothing that should unsettle Gabriel Peckley at the moment.
Indeed. And since we're looking at lap times, it's also looking at fastest lap. Currently, the fastest lap is being held by Pascal Polens, a 1:13.4. And if it were to stay that way, Pascal Polens would pick up the third fastest lap of the season. There's no points for fastest lap, but there is a separate cash prize for the driver with the most fastest laps across the season. And so far, Poland's managed the fastest lap in Australia and South Africa, whilst Bahrain went to Lucas Murno, who was obviously very dominant on that day. So he can add a third fastest lap to his repertoire this afternoon, Pascal Polens, and potentially a first win for Vanguard. 5 laps to go, leading the championship coming into today. This is a huge chance for him to maybe stake himself as the proper front runner and get the lack of win off back as well. Lucas Murno will do everything he can, but the gap is creeping up now between Murno and Polens. Seems to be managing it quite nicely.
I think there's nothing more in Lucas Murno's tyres. Also, if you look at the lap times, 1:14.1 from Polens, 1:14.5 from Murno. Meschede is going the same pace as Murno.
I think these front three have been able to essentially pull away, and in order of pace as well. The gaps have just slowly eked out over this final stint. It is just about avoiding incident. In the meantime, Gino Gajano is getting closer to Daniel Benton-Reader. There might be a late move for Sick here. Obviously, as we mentioned, Benton-Reader will be aware of his teammate's retirement with brake issues. Imagine won't be so keen to get in a heavy late braking fight with Gajano here. But he's getting closer and closer in the slipstream now.
Now, this might be my imagination, but both in the heavy braking zones into the final corner and the first corner, it looked like Benton-Reader was taking it a bit easier compared to Gajano.
Yeah, I definitely spotted that coming into the chicane. I feel like he eased off. But I think that it's a going concern for him. And you wonder how hard he might fight this, because obviously 7th place is still better than a DNF. So if Gajano is going to get a lot closer and look to kind of late break into one of these corners. When he goes very, very, very deep into that, and I wonder if he's already managing the issue. Or if that was just a mistake, but he's back in the slipstream. Is he going to try and fight back? He's looking. The SCMM isn't the best in a straight line, so he might sense an opportunity, but no, he decides to pull out of it. And I think Benton-Reader is now just going to try and manage. I don't think we're going to see him fight back too hard.
I think there might be a brake issue. This is exactly... Remember the race last year at Bahrain? This is how it started for most of the guys that had a brake issue then.
Rustemeier's gone in. Very interesting. Rustemeyer just outside the points. About a second away from Denny Vella. He's in the pits. And it's not showing the stop. I wonder if that's an issue, if that's to retire the car. I'm not sure why. Oh, that's why. Oh, that'll be why. Although, unfortunately, if that's the car coming out of the pit stop after the stop, I feel like they've maybe forgotten to do something. Oh, there we go. Graphical glitch. So I imagine he has lost his front wing, potentially, and he's got it replaced.
The gap was 2 seconds. It's now just over 1.
Right, let's see how much Benton-Reader lifts off here. Oh yeah, it's squirming as well. Yeah, Benton-Reader is going to have to potentially yield another place here.
If the issue does not get dramatically worse, he should be fine against Knežević. The gap is still quite large, but Aaron Curtis has been gaining a lot.
Curtis will see how quickly the gap is coming down. But they don't get caught out by kind of the early gentle braking of Benton-Reader when they kind of get into striking distance as well.
Yeah, I'm sure the team will have told them though that Benton-Reader has some sort of brake issue. And I think they might even have realized themselves by how quickly they were gaining on Benton Reader.
So here comes Curtis.
But the next lap will be the final lap, so this is last chance already.
Yeah, they are running out of chances. Owens is already on that final lap. And now Benton Reader and Curtis are too. And they're not going to have many opportunities. Might be hoping for another deep run into the hairpin, or literally last ditch into the final chicane on the final lap.
Oh, this is exciting to watch, but I think we'll soon be watching. Yeah, Pascal Polens is about to cross the finish line.
And what a fine recovery from him, from third on the grid. Then took the decision to make the early stop, worked his way back up through the field, and now the championship leader also is finally a race winner under his new team. Pascal Polens becomes the fourth different winner of this season. Lucas Murno just coming home, just over a second behind. Ruben Meshter will see out the top three. Peckley, a solid drive from him, home in fourth. Was Axel Aflam on pole, an incredible result there, but then a very messy afternoon. Some parts not his fault, some parts his, unfortunately, but good recovery to fifth. Gajano comes home. Curtis does get ahead of Benton Reader, and I imagine he's done that on the final chicane. Oh, and there's no further action for Benton Reader, so I wonder if it was maybe slightly contentious in the way that was done, or potentially just running wide because of the brake issue. In the meantime, Denny Vella does come home to score the points, but there is the race winner. Pascal Polens has finally picked up a race win for Vanguard Engineering. He is the fourth different winner this season, and also becomes the fourth driver to win a race in every season of WMSC. These are your provisional results. Pascal Polens wins from Lucas Murno, Ruven Meshter third ahead of Gabriel Peckley, Axel Flam home fifth after an eventful afternoon, to say the least. Gino Gajano sixth, a good substitute afternoon for him, for the SCMM team boss. Aaron Curtis, loads of battles from them, putting on a defensive masterclass, coming home seventh. Benton Reader survives his brake issue to come home eighth ahead of Alexander Knezovic and Denny Vella for Lucky Hamish Racing, rounding out top 10. João Fernando just missing out on points for Bravo Snowshatten. Misha Smith having a quiet afternoon, but still managing to make it home 12th ahead of the other Bravo Snowshatten, Gustavo Goto. Mateus Machado and Diogo Meneghetti are 14th and 15th for Potenza. Rustemeyer, not sure why he had the late stop, but despite running up to most of it, will be slightly disappointed in coming home 16th. João Marcos Angeli is 17th, a lap down, as is Gabriel Joubert. Maximilian Jaeger retiring with a brake issue, and Jean Palauro into the wall. Our two DNFs this afternoon. So we will look to get the top three in as ever. And we will have a chat with them once they're all in. Another eventful Montreal, despite there not being the weather this time. Still lots of battles up and down the field, Robin.
Yeah, but the good kind of eventful this time. Last year was on the edge with the late safety car restarts. Also, Kyle Army, not the kind of eventful that we want to see, but today a very good race, some very exciting battles up and down the order. So yeah, again, 3 out of 3 good races here in Montreal. So I'm sure we'll come back here next year as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I think so too. We're just waiting for our top two to come in, but we have Ruven Meshter here, so we'll start with Ruven. Congratulations, Ruven. Good race for you this afternoon. How much? How close do you think you could have gotten to the win, or do you think you kind of maximised your result this afternoon?
Yeah, I think I completely maximized it because our car was, yeah, a bit behind today. I don't know how fast I would have been with more upgrades or more top speed, but yeah, I think this was the best I could have gotten. Maybe P2, but I had some damage in the second pit stop. So yeah, I think that's the maximum, and I'm pleased with the result.
So in the second pit stop, which was I think under safety car, is that why you ended up losing track position to Lucas because you had damage to repair?
Yeah, I said hello to the World of Champions once, and
Ah,
well, it was fine to drive, but I wanted to make sure that I had the best car possible for the restart. And yeah, I mean, in the first laps, my pace was pretty good, but then my tires had just dropped, and I couldn't keep up anymore. But yeah, again, happy and well done to Pascal and Mano. Drove a good race, and yeah.
obviously a good recovery after coming back from being ill in the last race. Good to be on the podium again. Obviously, you and Philip are really good drivers. You both won races this season, but it seems like you're both being hampered by like the straight line speed of the SCMM. Are there plans to kind of try and remedy that and counteract it and get yourselves back closer to winning again?
I mean, it's the obvious answer is more drag updates. We need to do definitely drag upgrades one or two times, but I think otherwise the next track should be better for us, as we have also a new engine coming in, and yeah, hopefully it will be a good time. Also, with practice, I should practice a bit more. This time I started basically today and yesterday.
Okay. So yeah, well, considering that you've had limited preparation time, I think you can be very happy with that podium result. So yeah, very well done, Reuven.
Thank you very much.
So we'll move up the order then instead, and we'll go to second place, Lucas Murno. Lucas, congratulations. Obviously, very close to Pascal at the end. What was stopping you from kind of getting close to making the move? Was there issues with tires? Was it speed? Was it just general pace? Like you seemed agonizingly close to being able to make a move for the win.
Well, first of all, I have to think for the result because I think it was the best I could since I didn't have enough straight. I was the fastest in the corners and the qualifying happened in the race as well. My pace was quite good. I could follow Paulins for a good while in the race, but I have a little bit of damage with the first lap contact with the axle who pushed me off. But it still could drive the car a little bit well, but in the end, we cannot get closer on him. Collins has a better car for today, so all I can say it was the best as I could today, and think for the next race in Austin, I believe it's gonna be a little bit more benefit for the car since our characteristic of the car is on the corners and has a lot on Austin than Montreal, so I believe it's going to be a little bit better in the pace, but I'm really happy at all with with Cesario also doing the best points today with Beckley in fourth place. We are quite struggling with the rears today as this track belongs on it, but in the end, we could save a good result. I'm very happy with that. Congrats to Paulins for the victory and Rashid for the podium, and let's bring her up again to Austin.
Absolutely, a very good result indeed, and like you say, great work in from Peckley as well, which means you're kind of both still very much fighting in both championships. I'm guessing due to the characteristics of the car, it was quite hard to try and cut through the pack and get past people. I think you were behind Benton Reader early in the race for a good few laps. Was it just kind of, especially without DRS, hard to try and make the move when straight line speed was the weaker part of the car?
Yeah, it was because our car was set up to be in the front, but in the end, in the third year, we would get stuck, even with the differences of the tires, since mediums are less grip than the softs, and so it's gonna be even harder to overtake. And Montreal benefits a little bit, don't benefits a little bit the following and the overtaking zone. You have to be very close and very fast to overtaking easily. But in this track, without the RS is more harder. But it's gonna be very common to look in the next few races, since it has a lot of corners and the rear will be even more considerable. But once again, I can be satisfied with the result. And in the end, we can have a little bit more powerful engine for Austin as well. So I'm believing that we can be a little bit closer this time, next time.
Oh, that's great to hear. Very well done in your result today, and obviously good luck for the next race. Pascal, to you now. Congratulations. Finally picking up a first win for Vanguard, and now extending your lead at the top of the championship. Obviously, qualifying didn't go quite to plan, but clearly still had the pace. And then obviously you made that early decision to kind of ditch the medium tire and decide to work your way through the pack, which could have been risky, but was very well done. Was it really that important you got rid of the medium tire for you today and then just basically run the race on softs?
Thank you, first of all. I think it was about time that I finished a race without any penalties. So yeah, was about time to finally be on top. But concerning the strategy, yeah, the mediums are just way too slow on every track this year so far, and with the short pit lane you have here in Montreal, it's really beneficial to just maybe do one more pit stop or maybe ditch a tire earlier, because you don't really lose too much time. I mean, in the end, I lost 5 positions for the pit stop in lap 1, and yeah, 5 positions for the better tires is like pretty much a no-brainer, I'd say.
No, absolutely. And, you did a very good job of cutting through the pack and getting back to the lead. And from there, it seemed pretty comfortable. Obviously, things bunched back up together from the safety car and you had to manage that restart, which you did very well. Obviously, you had Luke's quite close behind you. Was there a lot of looking in the mirrors, or did you feel quite confident you had the performance to just kind of hold at arm's length today?
Well, in the beginning, after the restart, I was a bit worried because the slipstream is so strong this year. But yeah, after like 2 laps, I noticed that he wasn't gaining really too much time on the straights. And after that, it was lots more of just controlling and managing the gap and managing the tires that I last I think it was 21, 22 laps. Yeah, after like I said, the first 2 to 3 laps after the safety car, it was just managing.
And how do you fancy your chances in Austin next?
I see SCMM as the best car there, especially when Ruben said they would have a new engine. And also, their car's just way better in the corners. I think it was also noticeable today. In the first 2 sectors, I wasn't too quick compared to the last sector. So, yeah, I think both SCMM guys are there. They probably will have a 1-2, but behind them, it's all to play for, I think.
Well, it's going to be a fascinating battle again throughout the season, as we mentioned before, with these 3 different cars with slightly different designs fitting for it. But congratulations today, top of the championship and on top step of the podium as well. Very well done.
Yeah, thank you very much.
And that brings us to the end of Montreal for another year in WMSC. And up next, as mentioned, a track we actually haven't visited in WMSC before. After 2 visits to Watkins Glen, we are going to the Circuit of the Americas on the 11th of May. So it's going to be very interesting to see how everyone handles this newcomer to the track for to the season for the first time. Thank you so much, everyone, for watching. We hope you enjoyed the race this afternoon, and we hope you'll join us for the next one very soon. Thanks very much, and we'll see you then.